After being awarded my diploma, I was flown to the very first metaphysical betting shop to help take metaphysical bets. I even got to wear a furry pink question mark on my push bar. I said aloha to Edgar, not sure if I would ever see him alive again. The first metaphysical betting shop was not how I remembered it. Dead bodies littered the grass outside and barbed wire was everywhere. Fellow employees connected my direct feed interface to a computer terminal, and I waited for my first customer. He did not take long to appear. He was a middle-aged man in a tracksuit who bet £7,500 that Jesus Christ had a divine nature only, rather than a human and divine nature. He was shot in the arm as he tried to leave. My second customer was a fatalist. He bet £10,000 that what will happen, and nothing we do or do not do will make any difference. When he had made his bet, he walked out of the door, not even bothering to duck. After him, an old lady somehow managed to reach the betting shop, wrote out a cheque for £500, and bet that there is an ineffable, radiant consciousness outside space and time and beyond subject/object distinction, which is realised with the stopping of conceptualism. What happened to her, I don't know. After that, there was a lull in business as priests attacked the building. Bullets bouncing off the bulletproof stained glass windows sounded like popcorn popping. Time passed. In all, I took 2,323 bets. I took £120 for the bet that God is both personal and compassionate and is father and mother. I really did. I took a £10,530 bet off a woman, her entire life savings, she told me, for the bet that once freed from the attachment of the senses, the soul may become fused with the universal spirit. I took £5,000 from a one-legged man for the bet that the behaviour of all living things is in part due to a life force which cannot possibly be explained by physics or chemistry. A man in pyjamas bet £6,000 that the incarnation of God in Jesus was impossible since all matter is evil. After him, a man in a clown's outfit bet £500,000 that millions now living would never die. After each of the nuts made their bets, they stood in the doorway and affixed their "I've put my money where my metaphysics are" badges proudly on their chests, and then rushed out to face their chances against the machine guns that were trained on the betting shop. The whole thing was just terrible. Day after day I was forced to watch nuts disappearing into the sunlight. All I heard after that was the chatter of the machine guns. How many of my customers escaped with their lives I can't say. I even had regulars, nuts who ran across no man's land every single day. One bet that God was protecting him so that he could keep on betting. He made the same bet every day. Then one day he failed to show. Another nut spent a totally silly amount of money on a claim that God is one, and that there is no unity that is in any way like his. He bets on this once a week. At the end of March, a nut was shot in the back just outside the betting shop. He threw a wad of money into the shop, and after a few moments I asked him what he wanted to bet on. He couldn't make up his mind. First he said that he wanted to bet that Christ ascended into heaven and sits on the right-hand side of God. Then he said he wanted the money spent on the bet that Emanuel Swedenborg had direct access via dreams to the spiritual world. Then he changed his mind and said that he wanted to bet that the Roman Catholic Church has a divine right to prevent its members reading material harmful to their faith. The poor nut was slowly losing his mind. He asked me what I thought he should bet on. "Who knows?" I said. In the end, the nut said he wanted to bet that the Bible was completely accurate, and that the beep 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 noise one heard on the radio just before the news was the voice of God. He died soon after that. Aloha. Chapter 44. Part 2, Chapter 44. Summer came and the Holy War went on and on. I was taking money off a nut who believed that Marshal Heref Applewhite, leader of the Heaven's Gate cult, was God's messenger, when it was reported on the news that Dr. Saint or Saint Dr. Cunningham had somehow escaped from Pentonville prison. I got one of the girls I worked with to phone Edgar, I told him to drop whatever he was doing and to pick me up. He wanted to know what was going on. Ah! It says what as going on. Another mistake. It wasn't me. He wanted to know what as going on. Ha! Sorry. He wanted to know what was going on. I told him to trust me. An hour later, a white helicopter landed on the grass next to the first betting shop. I was pulled aboard and the machine rose into the sky. "Where are we going?" Edgar asked. "Rainthorpe House," I told him. Edgar was silent for a while. Then he said, "Is that wise?" "Trust me," I said, and poor Edgar did just that. He radioed back to Skeptic Tower, informing them that he was flying to Rainthorpe House. The employee on the other end of the radio said, "Be careful out there." I had taken my last metaphysical bet. So effectively had Edgar.